have to kind of go in order of which one needs to be done first and what needs to be discussed first. But we are back on another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. We are going to be discussing lots of basketball today. Definitely got a lot of Badgers to talk about because they had two very, very interesting wins in this last week. Mike's going to be jumping in here in a little bit, our Badger guy. So before we do that, I suppose I can introduce Jake, who is sick today, so he's hanging in there. So it'll be good that we have another person in here talking, so Jake can catch his breath in between takes. But definitely want to thank Parker Johns for sponsoring us. We are currently in talks to see if they're going to want to hang around with us for another year. But if you're watching, go invite people to follow the show. We are 46 people away from 4,000 followers. So just to throw that out there.
We just want to be in 4K like everybody's TV, man. That's all I'm saying.
That was really cheesy. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, I'm a dad now. I got to make those kind of jokes. I have to have one a day.
One a day? All right, that's the quota.
That's the prerequisite.
All right, so before we start with the Badgers, we're going to wait for Mike to get in here. I just want to kind of give an update on baseball and what it's going to mean for the Brewers. Baseball and the Players Association did not come to a deal by Monday's deadline. Honestly, Major League Baseball said they made their best offer, which was an offer that was like this much of a smidge closer to what the Players Association was asking for, but it was still this far away. Yeah. So, a pinch in a bucket, I don't blame the players for not taking it. So what the MLB has done is they've canceled the first two series of Major League Baseball season. What that means for the Brewers, unfortunately, they lose two home series because of this. And the Brewers aren't going to be the only one this happens to, but it is unfortunate that the Brewers are going to lose 6 home games, 3-game series against the Diamondbacks, and a 3-game series against the Giants. So, unfortunately, like I said, the Brewers unfortunately lose 6 home games. But as of right now, the opening day for the Brewers would be April 7th. So,
who's that against?
That would be against the Cubs. It would be a 4-game series against the Cubs. And then after that is
it's kind of sexy, I'm not going to lie.
4-game series against the Cubs. It's a 3-game series against Baltimore, all on the road. And then they're back in Milwaukee for a 4-game series against the Cardinals. So
that's a tough way to start the season, just grinding out games right away.
I mean, but by the time they're done playing the Cubs and the Orioles, they'll be 7-0. So
that's true. That's very true. I was gonna make a joke to Cubs fans that if they keep canceling games, you guys can avoid losing 100 this year.
I honestly, it would not surprise me if the Pirates finish with a better record than the Cubs this year.
Really? That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
The Cubs, they're rebuilding now. Yeah. They're going to be basically a glorified AAA team.
Yeah, a quadruple A. That's what people used to call the Brewers.
I can see that. James says, go Red Sox. Speaking of the Red Sox, the Brewers did make a trade before the lockout, sending Jackie Bradley Jr. back to the Red Sox. They got Hunter Renfroe. If a deal is reached, baseball free agency is going to happen very, 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 very quickly.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. I'm thinking this might benefit the Brewers in a way, though. In my mind, I see this fast and furious free agency period benefiting the Brewers in the way that guys are going to be looking for contracts. And, maybe because of the shorter negotiation period, they don't have as much time to go back and say, this is what they offered me. Similar to what Justin Turner did last year, where it's like, oh, maybe he'll come to the Brewers. Here's the Brewers offer. And then he goes back to the Dodgers and said, hey, this is what they're willing to pay me. Pay me a little more. And obviously the Dodgers are just like, oh, yeah, cash grows on trees. Here you go.
Out there it does.
Yeah. So with less of that going on, no winter meetings, none of that. Maybe some shorter term, higher money deals. So I wrote an article last week about 8 free agents that could potentially succeed at American Family Field. If the Brewers could go and grab, say, Kyle Schwarber on like a 1-year, $25 million deal, hey, maybe we'll have a really fun year and play
Yeah.
120 games.
Never know. You never know,
Right, yeah.
really.
Right now, that's what it is, though. Right now, they're on pace for 156 games. Opening day for the Brewers would be April 7th. So that's where we're at.
Personally, this is how I feel. I feel like it's just really stupid. And what I heard on ESPN, because I wasn't reading a lot into it, because it's annoying watching people with a lot of money argue with people with a lot more money. When you break it down, it's just really annoying, right? The working man, we go to work every day, break our back. I went to work this whole week sick, had no sleep because my daughter was sick. That's how I got this cold. And you see all these people arguing over some stupid little nuances, right? But the thing I heard was the owners thought it was close. And the players, like Tyler explained, the players were kind of like, no, we said what we wanted, and you guys like literally budged like a half an inch. And the players felt like they didn't move like at all and adjusted to anything that they wanted. And my whole point is like, I said this to Tyler, and I'm sure everybody has said this. There's no league without the players. Like, we don't go to the games to watch the owners. We go to the games to watch, Corbin Burns, the Cy Young Award winner. We go to watch Christian Yelich, like Tyler said. When I was a kid, I used to go to watch Prince Fielder or Ricky Weeks. That's the stuff that we're going to the games for. I mean, obviously, we're going to make memories with our families, but I want to see Prince Fielder hit a home run because I've seen him hit a lot of home runs on TV, So, I mean, it's just really just dumb, in my opinion. And something needs to happen with these billionaire people just thinking they could push everybody around.
That's the really annoying thing is that I've read stuff that the owners know exactly how many games they need to have played in order to still turn a profit. So whether that's 100 games or, well, it'll be, you cut it in half, it's 81. So 81 home games. So say the owners know that it's 60 games that they need to be played at home to still turn a profit. What do they care about the first month of the season if it means that they don't have to give up anything else in the discussions?
Yeah, all the people that bought the 20-game ticket packages, or the people that are going to bring their, they took vacation, they're going to bring their son to his first ball game. Like, that stuff doesn't mean anything to them, really.
They don't see fans as individuals.
No.
I don't necessarily think the players do anymore, but the owners definitely see fans as attendance and, basically just dollars and revenue as opposed to thinking about the individual fan.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a bigger market and you just know that the people are there just because you're a big city.
Yeah, New York's, LA's, stuff like that.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we're going to bring Mike in, and we are going to start talking about basketball.
Yeah, something fun.
Fellas? How we doing?
Brother? Oh, Mike's still amped up from the game. Listen to this guy.
Man, I could not sleep last night. I tell you what, I was watching clips probably till about 12:30, 1 o'clock. So,
my goodness. I slept like a baby.
Me too. Yeah, once I fell asleep, I was out. All right. So I know we're excited to talk about the Purdue game, but we are going to start with the Rutgers game. We're going to talk about that one first. Still going to be a fun one to talk about because the teams that the Badgers have been beaten by, which would be Ohio State, Michigan State, Illinois in the conference, and Rutgers. The Badgers played 3 of them again. They beat Ohio State the second time. They beat Michigan State the second time. And now they had a rematch against Rutgers, and they won that one again. So they still haven't been beaten by the same team twice. They've avoided having, this team has our number. So I was happy to see that with the Rutgers game. But what were you guys seeing from the Rutgers game? Mike, I'll let you start since Jake is under the weather today.
Okay.
Hey, you're the expert.
Mike, no. It was pretty much exactly what I expected when playing at Rutgers, essentially. I knew this was not going to be a blowout by any means if we were going to win. Going into this very, very hostile environment. I think there's only it's weird. There's only 7,000 people I think that can fit in this place. But I mean, when 7,000 people are screaming and there's a lot of echoing and all of that, it's just a pain in the ass to play it, and that's what every team in the Big Ten says. So Yeah, no, this is basically what I expected in terms of like outcome if we were going to win this game. Um, Rutgers is a great team. I think we still see them in the NCAA tournament. I mean, freaking Geo Baker, man, he's been giving us problems for ever since he's put on a Rutgers uniform. He had a hell of a game against us this time around. And then Ron Harper Jr. is definitely nobody to look past, because I think he might be going to the league next year, or he'll be coming close to that. So I know he's been getting NBA looks, to my understanding anyway. So as far as, us go, as far as we go, it was amazing. Like Tyler Wall, he played really, really tough, but also there were many times during this game where he turned over the ball too, and he like ruined a couple, possessions for us a little bit. So like his effort was really, really good, but it was also a little bit out of control too. But I think that was just a testament to, we were giving guys like Ben Carlson a chance in this game specifically, and he just could not produce at all. And you could tell guard was not having anything of it in this game. So I think we just gave Wall like a few extra minutes just because, there's just not much production coming from that. Another positive sign that I got from this was that we finally got Brad Davison shooting the ball okay again. I think, what was it? He hit four threes this game. So he hit some big shots for us. This is just being more repetitive too as of late. And I think, and I could be wrong on this stat because Chucky might have come close, but I think at least every starter for at least on the Badgers for at least one game has been the leading scorer in a game this year. Chucky might be close, maybe not, but everybody else, I believe, has been the leading scorer for at least one game this year. I'm pretty sure. I was just looking at that right before we got on here because
that sounds right.
Stephen Krall got the Minnesota game.
Just had Minnesota, yeah.
Tyler Wall's definitely been a leading scorer. JD has. Brad Davison, I believe, has. The Indiana game might have proved that, but
or Nebraska, because he seems to always kill Nebraska.
Correct. So this is just a testament to how far this team has come in terms of who we can rely upon to get a bucket. Because if you would have asked, if we're having this conversation 2-3 months ago, we don't really know. We don't know how good Tyler Wall has been in the post, which he can dominate in the post. I mean, he's shooting over 7'4" guys, for Christ's sakes. But no, this is just another gutty victory by us at the end of the day. I gave the MVP personally to Brad on this one. I would have gave it to Chucky. He hit some big shots for us. He also turned over the ball 3 or 4 times as well this game. That's just why I didn't give him the nod. But nevertheless, he also had a big game here too. So I'll let you guys give your thoughts then from here.
Tyler, go ahead.
All right, so Tyler Wall actually opened this game up with a 3, which is weird. Doesn't happen very often, but I think he's up to 6 3-point makes on the season.
Yep, after last night.
Yep. But pretty much just Tyler Wall, Brad Davison, Johnny Davis, Chucky Hepburn setting the tone early. Badgers had a lead as big as 11 in the first half. Like Mike said, it was good to see Brad Davison getting back in it. It took the Badgers until the 4-minute mark in the first half to get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
That was something that was better in the Purdue game, but for a team that is predicated on fundamentals, not turning the ball over, making your free throws, playing disciplined defense, taking 16 minutes to get to the free throw line, especially when all eyes are on Johnny Davis, and he's going to get a lot of extra attention, go get to the free throw line. That's the easiest way to jumpstart your scoring and see the ball go through is either layups or free throws. So go get to the free throw line. And when they did, it was Ben Carlson, which this starts off 2 possessions in a row of Rutgers complaining about fouls, because this one, Carlson goes up, he gets like hammered like on the wrist and like pulled down, and the dude's like acting like he had all ball. It's like, you had a lot of wrist. But right after that number 4, like he's got fight in him. But I feel about him the way that like a Nebraska would feel about Brad Davison. Like it's just like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Drives to the paint. Yeah, Mulcahy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets a full extension into Brad Davison, gets called for an offensive foul, and he's like,
Yeah, that was bad.
That dude spent the entire game whining to the refs, like the entire game. It's like, dude, before the first matchup with the Badgers, you dropped 31 the night before. You don't have to whine to the refs. You are good enough to impose your will on a game.
He had the matchup on Brad. He could clearly take him like to the hole, like in the post. Like if he got it within like the free throw line and it's 1-on-1 versus Brad, he's got the advantage. Like
he was hitting that
was
post
clear.
fade.
That was clear as day.
That fadeaway, but
and if I was Rutgers, I would have gone to that more personally. But you know, it is what it is.
No, I'll tell you what I would have done if I was Rutgers. I would have used Geo Baker as the ball handler and had Ron Harper Jr. as the screener, because Geo Baker was making every tough shot in this game. He was balling.
I'm exactly so glad he's out after this year.
That's exactly.
I'm so happy he's gone.
Like Mike mentioned, the effort by Tyler Wall, playing really hard on defense. He got switched onto some guards, just guys making really tough shots, and the crowd got back into it. That's where it started to get a little chippy, and Rutgers cut the lead to 3, and then they drew an offensive foul. Brad Davison needs credit for drawing a charge on a 2-on-1.
That was a beautiful play.
He stood right on top of the restricted circle. He waited. He knew the guy was going to drop off the pass, but he just waited for him to come right into him and take the charge. So that is a veteran move by the 25-year-old Brad Davison.
I mean, I thought Jordan Davis did a pretty good job last night, but they didn't want to call a freaking charge to save our
I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing that up because
I will save that for you. Stephen Crowell hits another timely bucket. I don't know if he just, aside from the Minnesota game, if he just doesn't score buckets that are at the perfect time every time he scores.
Yeah, seriously.
Tied the game at 42. And then Johnny Davis. Jake mentioned just like maybe 2 weeks ago, the body control of Johnny Davis. It's something you can't teach. It's an athleticism thing. And Johnny Davis gets up into the body of a center and switches to the left hand to put a layup in. 2 more stops, and then he hits a 3, pushes the lead back up. What I want to see is more off-the-ball movement. I know this is something that hasn't really been a forte of the Badgers. The Badgers run a lot of dribble handoff and then some pick and roll. The other 3 guys that aren't touching the ball just got to move around a little bit, set screens for each other, cut to the basket, just move around a little more. And then you got to make free throws. When Jake and I talk about the Bucks later, we're going to talk about free throws, and you got to make your free throws.
I don't want to because it's going to hurt my feelings. Because we lost.
Free
throws. And turnovers, but we'll get there. I'm pretty pissed off about that. But.
Yeah, I'm a little salty about that too.
Everybody's beating the Nets except the Bucks, apparently.
Yeah.
Right?
Seriously.
Hey, meanwhile, the 76ers are bragging about beating the Timberwolves and the Hawks and the
Timberwolves. Hey, you can brag this year about beating the Timberwolves. You can brag this year.
They're pretty good. Games over 500? Anyways.
They're in the playoffs.
Then, after that, Stephen Crowell hits another timely three-pointer. Just, like he does after Rutgers grabbed the lead. Stephen Crowell hits another 3. This was number 5. That's Baker, right? Baker's number 5?
Yeah, I believe so.
Slaps. Tyler Wall goes up for a dunk. He slaps the hell out of Tyler Wall's arm. And then he's complaining. Like Rutgers spent so much time complaining in this game. It was like, dude, how did you not notice that you slapped the shit out of him? Like, whatever.
And that home crowd's just going to be on that player's side too, because they're just going to boo them,
right?
Like the shit out of the stadium. And then you got Bo Borowski doing his thing on Brad Davison that later on that game in the second one too. But I won't get it. I won't get into that. I just don't like that guy.
But, I know number 5 is Andre Hyatt. He's a backup big.
Okay.
Baker's number 0, by the way.
Baker's number 0. All right. So then after that, more Johnny Davis. And then I think it was number 4 again. It was Mulcahy again. Brad Davison is standing right on the restricted circle, waiting for a rebound, Number 4 comes barreling into him and knocks him down, and
Yeah.
Brad Davison gets the foul.
That's exactly what I was talking about. That was Bo Borowski who made that.
What the hell is that? Like, Brad
God-forsaken
Davison
call.
has position. How does Brad Davison get that foul? It's absolutely baffling. It happened a couple times last night where it was like some tangle ups, but whatever. Then late in the shot clock, Chucky Hepburn hits a deep 3-pointer, and I'm gonna elaborate on Chucky's 3-point shooting a little bit later when we get into another segment. But then after that, Tyler Wall had one of those turnovers that Mike mentioned. The next play, they get a stop and a jump ball. So it was right after that. It was like bang, bang plays. Tyler Wall got a bad turnover. Then right away, the next play, he gets up in the guy's face on defense. The guy kind of coughs the ball up. Tyler Wall is the first one on the floor, and they get a jump ball. Coming out of a timeout, Greg Gard draws up a beautiful play to get a score. And then Johnny Davis making his free throws when they count. And then after that, it was basically swarming defense. It's going to be a theme when we talk about last night's game. Swarming defense on the last play of the game forced Rutgers into a very deep contested 3-pointer. It reminded me of the Penn State game where they were just kind of discombobulated and they were forced to taking a really deep contested 3-pointer. I'll let Jake throw out some of the totals and then we'll talk about Purdue.
Well, I didn't want to be a totals guy this week, but I just wanted to point out some stuff that I noticed. Chucky Hepburn, I know people are really amazed with his ability to shoot now because that's really been amazing, but his ability to control the pace of the game and be a playmaker on the floor and kind of just slow everything down for everybody is unmatched, man. He really has become a floor general and really grown into that, man. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to watch. The Badgers' offensive potential went from, say you're grading it out of 10, right? Before the season, I would have been like, maybe a 5. Now I see it as an 8, 9. You know, this offense can go anywhere, honestly.
Yeah.
Jake and I were talking about Chucky Hepburn a little bit last night, and I drew a picture on my phone and I sent it to Jake. I'm like, this is Chucky Hepburn season. It's like,
yeah, dude, it's insane. And he still is that bulldog on defense, man. He'll get in your face. I got to say, last night, that play where Brad Davison went down and just stole the ball from the big man down low and started celebrating with the crowd, I was like, oh, that got me off the couch, baby, already. That was awesome.
Big Cat was into it, too. Yeah, there was a clip of, like, once that happened, they put the camera on Big Cat, and he was just eating that all up, man.
How amazing is that going to be for recruiting if we can get a guy, like, famous like that, you know,
just
to come to
put
basketball
him in the booster.
games?
Make him a booster, and a lot of stuff will get solved, I bet. I'm telling you, make him a booster for the program.
A lot more Johnny Davis is coming our way, I think.
Dude, you ain't lying.
I only speak facts, baby. But Brad Davison, I agree with Mike. I think he was the player of this game. He just does a lot of stuff that doesn't show up in the box score, and it helps that he did shoot better this game. But his communication on defense, he's always leading the huddles. I mean, he just does he has all the leadership qualities that you want in the leader of your team, and I think that doesn't need to go unnoticed. You know, he's a great player. I love Brad Davison, honestly. Before the season, I wanted to say this. I was a little wishy-washy about him coming back this year. I was kind of like, I don't know, I had a bad taste in my mouth after last season because they were the Big Ten champs, and then last year it was a flop, you know, and it didn't work out, and then all the off-season stuff. But Brad Davison's ability to just lead this team is really, really something special. And obviously, we're the Big Ten champs again, so that's fucking awesome. Yeah. Johnny Davis, he's the man. I don't know. This was just a really, really hard-fought win. For a while there, I was just like, man, I would not be shocked if Rutgers beats us. And Rutgers was favored going into this game. So Rutgers is a good team. They will be in the NCAA tourney. I don't know if you guys saw, but the updated seeding, they have the Badgers as a 2 seed now after last night.
Yeah.
If I were going to guess at what the rankings are going to turn out to be, I would just see Purdue and Wisconsin flip-flopping.
Yeah, I was
barring
gonna say
any losses
honestly,
in the top 7.
After last night, I was gonna guess we'd probably be number 8 in the country right now. So.
Kansas has lost 2 in a row as well. We might jump Kansas.
We could if we win the Big Ten outright on Sunday. That'll, I think,
They straight up might go into the top 5. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like a
Purdue
homer.
spent half the season in the top 4, even after losing to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
If we win Sunday, win it outright, that slingshots us for sure a 2. I think we have a 2 seed locked up.
I agree, 2 seed. Yep.
And
we'll see how we do in the Big Ten tournament.
Yep.
But,
imagine if they win both. There's no way they keep us off the 1 line. There's no way if they win both.
If they run through the Big Ten tournament, in my opinion, to be a 1 seed, they have to beat Illinois at some point in the Big Ten tournament to be in consideration for a 1 seed.
That's fair because then they would have beat everybody who they lost to.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's why I keep bringing up they haven't lost any of the teams that they previously lost to. So, in my opinion, if they want a 1 seed, they will have to beat Illinois at some point in the Big Ten tournament and win it. If they were to lose to, say, Illinois or anybody else in the Big Ten tournament, as long as it's not like a Minnesota or Nebraska or something like that, then I think they're pretty much locked in as a 2 seed. If they get somehow upset in the Big Ten tournament, like if they lose their opening game or something like that to, like I said, to say Minnesota or Nebraska, then I could see maybe sliding back into that 3 seed. But Badgers have beat a lot of ranked teams this year.
Well, we beat St. Mary's, who just beat Gonzaga before we beat Houston. We lost to Providence by 5 points, 6 points, and Johnny Davis didn't even play that game.
And
we would have steamrolled them. I want to be clear on that. That would have been we would have steamrolled Providence if Johnny Davis plays.
We would have killed them. We would have absolutely killed them. So, and they're a top 10 team right now. They're ranked one. Are they ranked above us?
Providence
is number 9.
Providence. I thought I saw Providence was out of the.
It's like neck and neck. It's close. It's like 9, 10 maybe.
I think they're either number 9 or number 11. They're either one below us or one above us. But I have a question for you guys before we talk about Purdue, because I saw a tweet last night and it got me excited.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet and it said Wisconsin is Final Four good. Do you guys agree with that?
I saw that. I did see that.
Yes, but it's gonna come. It'll come down to matchups too. I still think our weakness for the most part, if we get a skilled big man who can, drop like similar to a Kofi or somebody who's just used to dropping, 25 and 10 a game. I think that's still our general weak spot, and
so
I think it just comes down to weak. Like for me personally, I think we can match up with a team like a Gonzaga, for example. I would love to see, personally, who would not want to see Tyler Wall versus Drew Timme? I think that would be a sick matchup. I just think of that and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Talk about throwback, seriously.
Yeah.
Talk about throwback. That would be awesome to watch. And then Chet is just skilled.
12 and 10.
Yeah, and then
I'm not afraid of any team that would be put in front of us. This year just doesn't seem like there's like the one clear-cut favorite in my view, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a sick tournament.
The thing with Chet is that I shouldn't say somehow, but it sort of benefits the Badgers that he's not overly strong.
Yeah.
Because then Crowell can kind of hold his ground a little bit. It seems when Crowell deals with guys who are stronger than him, that's when he kind of gets pushed back, and then it's like, all right, we got to bring in Chris Vogt a little bit here.
That's why I think it won't be like the worst. I mean, Chet can shoot the 3 from time to time. And if we have to give that up, we'll give up a few threes to him. But I think like inside, I think we can match up with that personally.
Well, the thing about Crowell guarding Chet on a 3-point line is Crowell's not really a rim protector, anyways.
Yeah,
the guy who's more of a rim protector is Tyler Wall.
Tyler Wall,
He's the one that gets the blocks. Even Johnny Davis gets more blocks than Crowell does. But that would be a very interesting matchup. That would be a good.
That's
game.
what I'm hoping for. Oh, I would love to play Gonzaga.
Dude, there's so many exciting teams. I watched some Texas games for some reason when I'm bored. Texas is kind of exciting. Arizona, I watched a lot of their game last night. Whoa, they can get up and down the damn floor. Yep. Texas Tech is freaking good.
Texas Tech, I was just going to say.
I mean, there's a lot of
Baylor,
good teams.
I would throw Baylor in there.
Auburn is really good too.
Auburn's got a couple studs.
But last night, Purdue, Ivy, that guy is going to be a very good NBA player. He is so quick. Holy
He
camole.
cooked.
Hey,
He
did
cooked
you see
Johnny
who?
a few times, man.
Dude, when
Especially
he
in the
wants to
second
go,
half.
he just go. You know
Yeah.
when they talk about guys that have that second gear, right? He's
Yeah.
running up the floor. You're like, all right, he's pretty fast. Also, like, whoom! You're like, oh my god, this guy is built like a supercar. It's insane.
Did you see who I almost said Chucky Davis. Chucky Hepburn hit his game winner over.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
It was
know.
on Ivy. He hit it
Hey,
on
you know
Ivy.
why he didn't see it? Because it was a step back, baby. That's why he didn't see it. That's a little basketball analogy right there.
All right, so let's talk about Badgers and Purdue.
Oh, I got so much to say. Mikey, you can start us off.
You
buddy.
want me to? All right.
Go ahead.
Jake said he's got a lot to say, so whatever you say,
I'll
Jake will have
say,
something left
okay.
over.
I'll go with like the not too I'll make a couple points that were like maybe not too obvious that not everyone like thinks about. So I will go off the bat and say I honestly think this was the best game by our bench this entire season last night. I think you take, with the exception of Chris Vogt's one bad turnover that he had that killed like that 7-0 run that we had, 4 rebounds. 3 of those rebounds led to second chance 3-pointers for the Badgers. That was huge. Let me see. Jacoby Neath, 16 minutes, 3 points, 4 rebounds. He was part of that 10-0 run that like got us up. I believe it was 8 or 10 points with like 4 minutes to go in the first half. Mind you, this was also without Johnny Davis. This was also without Brad Davison at the time. I don't know how we did it. I still don't know how we did it today. And then Ben Carlson too. I mean, he played only 7-8 minutes, but he got 3 rebounds for us, 2 points. Like collectively, looking on that stat sheet, this was clearly the best game by our bench all year, and I don't think it's even close. That was the one thing that really stood out to me personally when just looking back at it. And the one major point actually I want to call out, our bigs. I don't know if I told you guys this before the game. I was talking to my dad, told my buddies this. As long as our bigs stay out of foul trouble in this game, we can play really well or we can play, like crap. We're going to be in this till the end. As long as our bigs stay out of foul trouble, and they did, and that's kudos to Steve Crowell and Chris Vogt. That was, that kept us in the game all night. And the fact that we were able to get Edey in foul trouble at a couple points during that game, that also helped us out quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was such a crucial part of that game, I thought, because we always were able to have somewhat of a big man presence, like constantly. Whereas in the first meeting, like we scraped by barely because we had like 4 dudes that had like 4 fouls with like a few minutes to go in that game. And we had Ben Carlson and Edey a few possessions. So
didn't Crowell and Vogt both foul out in the first matchup, or was that the Rutgers game, the first matchup against Rutgers?
I think Vogt did end up fouling out against Purdue the first time. Now that you mentioned that, if memory serves me right. But the point being, we had a constant big on the court at all times during this game, and that really helped us, I think, get us over the top. What else? Yeah, there is a lot here. I mean, Chucky Hepburn, just growing up between like game
or
or
2 months.
Dude, he gets better every week.
You said, that stock, it's going like that now. It's crazy. He can be a go-to scorer for us if we need a bucket now. Like, I will give him the green light at this point. Like, he's earned that. Basically all these guys in the starting lineup have earned that, actually, in my opinion. I have no problem. Somebody's got a good look at this point. I know Tyler Wall hit a 3 for us last night again. Still a little hesitant on him shooting that 3 ball, but for the most part, I got no problem with any of these dudes in the starting lineup, taking that shot for us if they need to do it. So, that was a big call out. We got, Edey getting him in foul trouble a few times. Ivy, that dude's a freaking stud. But the one, thing that killed Purdue, Ivy shot 3 of 9 from the free throw line. Like that absolutely killed them. And I believe they missed 8 or 9 free throws for the game. So just look, I think they were 11 of 20 or something like that. Actually, I can look that up, but that absolutely killed Purdue. But yeah, Ivy, like you said, Jake, he's an absolute stud.
Monster.
He took Johnny to the cleaners a few times on that. And even at
Johnny
the
was
end,
trying,
he was
man.
pulling up. Even when he was pulling up for that 3-pointer, like I think Johnny was anticipating him to drive when he just got like caught on ice skates, and Ivy just pulled up and just banged it right in his face. But
yeah, he's a stud.
I think Purdue, this was such a good win for the program. We're going to talk. I'll mention how big it is for the program after we're done talking about this. But yeah, I think that was for the major callouts. I mean, Tyler Wall, he had 5 steals last night.
Yeah,
5
he did.
steals.
Yes, he did.
Guy was an animal. 19 points, 5 steals, 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks, shooting over 7'4" people. Like we can talk about like game situations. I'll let you guys speak your thoughts about this, but I thought I was telling you guys in the chat as well. Like every time E goes out of the game, we should get the ball into the post, because if we have guys like Wall and Crowell in that game, I will take that advantage over Travion Williams and whoever else is playing in there. If
they kept putting a freshman on Tyler Wall, and every time they did, he went and scored. Yeah, like Chucky and Brad Davison and Johnny Davis were scoring in the first half, but Tyler Wall was scoring everywhere in between.
Yeah. Exactly.
He had a really nice assist to Vogt too when that freshman was on him, because the overhelp, he just bounced it right over. Vogt with a nice layup.
I have it in my notes to talk about that, because we know that Tyler Wall is a back to the basket post up guy. He doesn't get enough credit. Like, he actually can handle the ball. Like, he dribbles around the court. Like, he brings the ball up once in a while, not as a point guard, but just to get the ball across half court. But he's really good at driving to try to get to his spot on the block. And if if the shot's not there, he's comfortable with a pullback dribble. He can dribble behind his back and kind of reset the offense. He doesn't have to force something up just because his dribble's gone. So I wanted to point out that Tyler Wall, just because he does his scoring like this, Mike mentioned the 19 points, that he doesn't get a lot of credit for his ball handling and his passing ability. I know Jake's talked about his passing a little bit here and there during the season, but overall, I just don't think he gets enough credit for that. To Mike's point about the bench helping out, looking at just the first half on its own, even the Badgers had 19 rebounds at halftime. 9 of them were by the bench at halftime. 4 of them were by Vogt, and 3 of his 4 rebounds were offensive. Yep. And the Badgers had 8 second chance points in the first half. That's, it's stuff that doesn't really show up on the stat sheet and, blow you away. But when you're taking a small lead into halftime, a 5-point lead into halftime, and you have 33 points scored, and then you say, hey, 25% of those points were on second chance points. You got to kind of break it down, but it's there, and the effects of it are felt. Thankfully, what wasn't felt the effects of were 3 missed calls, all in the first half.
Yeah.
2 blocks that should have been called charges, and a second game now where the Badgers have gotten shafted on a goaltend.
That was bad. That goaltend was bad. I don't know how they missed that, honestly.
I don't know how they missed the one in the last game either. Like, Chucky put the ball on the backboard.
I forgot to bring that up.
How do you miss that? Like, 2 games in a row, the Badgers have gotten shafted on a goaltend. And then Jake said this last night, that he didn't think that they wanted to call the second charge for Jordan Davis because it was Jaden Ivey.
I really think they wanted Ivey versus Johnny in the late in the second. They did. I know they did. It's just like the NBA, dude.
I thought that the Jordan Davis charge specifically, I thought that could not be more of a picture perfect example of how to take a charge. That was perfect, honestly.
Dude, Brad Davis was waiting for 30 years.
Dude, he was camped out. He had a campfire.
You could have called him 3 seconds in the key, bro.
A log cabin in the background, and he was standing there waiting for him. Like, man. That one irritated me. It's like, dude, he was waiting there for like 18 seconds.
That was completely obvious. Like, I didn't even have to think. Usually, most of the charges that that Brad takes or like anybody else on the team, like I second guess myself sometimes when I watch the replays and stuff. But those 2 last night, and I'm just really just thinking about the Jordan Davis one for me personally off the top of my head. Like that was clear cut a charge. That is the definite example. He was right outside the arc. He was there a good second before Jaden Ivey even got a lick on him. Like that wasn't even close, like to being a block call. That was a picture perfect example of a charge. I was so irate after I saw that, man. I almost lost it. But
So
yeah,
bad.
Twice the Badgers went down in this first half, and both times when it happened, they went down 19-16 and they went down 25-23. Both times the Badgers they re-upped, they dug back in on defense, and they were started swarming around, contesting shots, and you're just playing the Badgers' signature style of defense of defending hard without fouling. And both times they made runs. The second time when they were down 25-23, they made the 10-0 run that took them to 33, was their halftime score. Brad, I was going to bring that up. The restricted area, that's a every level thing. Once you get to college, it's the restricted area is the area under the basket. That's unfortunately it's a thing.
I don't know if he was
Chucky,
set though. To be honest,
either way,
he got there a little
way,
late, in my opinion.
I think the
I'm
first
just gonna
one.
be honest.
I think the first one he was okay. The second one,
He got
way.
there a little late.
Either way, it's the restricted area. It's not going away, and it's not a new thing. It's new to Chucky because he's a freshman, but that's something. Maybe that's something he can kind of learn. That could be a goal for him to learn next year is to just kind of understand the nature of NCAA officiating, which in my opinion has too many whistles, but we'll see. We'll see. I was going to ask you guys that later, so I'll get back to that. But game got tied at the 8:48 mark. For a fundamental program, the amount of times that they gave up offensive rebounds last night by not boxing out, oh man, that was frustrating. I didn't look what Purdue's final second chance points number was, but you got to box out and finish possessions. Holding teams to one and done, especially in college, is the easiest way to take the wind out of anybody's sails. It's not going to matter in March when the games are all at neutral sites, but when you're playing a road game, for example, getting teams to one and done, like I said, it just takes the wind out of their sails. You're not giving up second chance points. When you give up those second chance points and those offensive rebounds, all you're doing is just saying, here's the momentum. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
So got to finish possessions. Stephen Crowell again. Does he score when it doesn't matter? Like, not that it doesn't matter ever, but like, does he only score at the most pivotal times? It really feels that way.
Man,
I'm gonna pose a question to you guys after we're done talking about this game, but Stephen Crowell, he knows when to make a timely bucket. That's just what he does apparently. The first of two bank shots, Johnny Davis. I don't understand how he didn't get a foul called on that one either, because he got hit on the arm as he was going up. That should have been a foul, and it should have been an and one is what it should have been. But welcome to March.
Exactly.
and the last chunk of that game, Johnny Davis banking that shot in, Jaden Ivey running up and hitting a 3-pointer, 4 feet behind the line. And I really, I wanted to say this, and I want to emphasize it. Greg Gard deserves a heap of praise on his Coach of the Year profile for not calling a timeout after Purdue scored.
I was going to make that a point as well.
Because if you call the timeout there, all you're doing is giving Purdue an opportunity to set their defense. By not calling a timeout there, Chucky Hepburn ran up, and you can see it like right after Ivey hits this three that they're focused on Ivey because he just made the shot. And everybody's like doing this, like pushing each other's shoulders, trying to figure out where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chucky goes up. He gets a step back. Ivey's kind of off balance, and Chucky hits the bank shot for the win. So I'm very proud of Greg Gard for not calling a timeout there to let Purdue set their defense. So I really, really wanted to make that a point of emphasis, that I'm really glad that Greg Gard did not call a timeout there. Jake, What do you want to say about this game?
Well, first of all, can you guys see that?
Yes.
You know what that says?
I know we were about to. Yeah, I did. I did see that. That was
Yeah,
wild.
that's the tweet. That's the quote from Hepburn after his shot. Also, Tyler was just recapping the end of the game, right? And you have Johnny Davis making a big-time shot, and then you have Ivy making a big-time shot. That is exactly why they didn't call that freaking charge. Okay, they wanted that. That was great TV, man. It feels great because we're on the winning side of it. But for Purdue, they're kind of like, screw this. But we kind of feel like we got hosed because if they lose Ivy at that point, we are going to wash them off the floor. It is not going to be close. They didn't stand a chance without Ivy, okay? So when I'm watching Purdue, it kind of gave me a throwback to last year and another Big Ten team that kind of whooped our butt a little bit last year in Illinois. They had a dominant point guard. They had a big, gigantic big man who's still there. And it's just a lot to deal with, right? Now you go to Purdue, they got a big, giant 7'4" guy who doesn't even have to jump off the floor to dunk it. I thought he was literally going to rip the freaking backboard off a couple times. I'm like, holy camole, this guy is ginormous, dude. Humans are not supposed to be made that big. And then you got Ivy running all over the place. They're a tough team to defend, man.
So you brought up Chucky's quote. Did you see Johnny Davis's quote?
Oh,
yeah.
Johnny Davis said about Chucky Hepburn's shot. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, that was some bullshit, but it went in.
Better pro, Ivy or Davis? What a question.
I haven't. Honestly, this answer is easy in my opinion for one reason.
What's that?
For me, it's Johnny Davis strictly because he's a two-way player. They're both great offensively, but for me, Johnny Davis is a far superior defender. Not to mention how good of a rebounder he is at guard. So for me, those two things sway it to Johnny Davis.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Davis is averaging a double-double or damn near close. After last night, I'm wondering what that stat line's at now too for the Big Ten games with points and rebounds. But I just think collectively, overall, he's just he just collectively has a more pieced together right now. Ivy, if you want to do the argument about, okay, who's the better athlete and whatnot, maybe I'll give that to Ivy, I guess. But I just think out of the two guys right now, what translates better in terms of their games, I would give the nod to Johnny personally. But just because he can fill up the stat sheet too, especially if he's not contributing necessarily on the scoreboard, he's finding ways to get rebounds. He's finding ways to, get scrappy and do some of the dirty work as well, which is probably what he's going to have to do when he gets to the league too. So
Johnny Davis averages more rebounds than Zach Edey.
There you go.
Johnny Davis is fifth in the Big Ten in rebounding. He averages 8.3 rebounds a game, in addition to his 20.3 points.
And he leads the NCAA in most points for his ranked opponents. So I'm going to say Johnny Davis for kind of a little bit different reason. Ivy's going to be a point guard, right? And there's a lot of superstar power at the point guard position. And I just don't see Ivy as the kind of guy that can play the off guard. He just doesn't have that game. Where Johnny Davis can handle the ball. He can be an off-ball guy. You can take him off a screen and shoot some threes with him. He can go to the rack and finish. Davis' game has more versatility, in my opinion, right now. You add in the fact that he plays defense and he rebounds like we're all bringing up, and that just adds to his profile. Not that Ivy can't become a decent rebounder and a playmaker and maybe even a defender. I mean, look at Ja Morant. That guy is averaging almost 6 rebounds and almost 7 assists. He's averaging 26, 27 points. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Ivy could turn into that. I don't know. But Johnny Davis legitimately feels like a 25-5 guy with 1.5 steals. And I'll take that every day of the week.
I've been comparing him for 3 weeks now, that if he puts a little bit more muscle on, that he profiles very similar to Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, he does. He really does. He has a little bit better touch from 3 than Wade did coming into the league.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have as good a touch from mid-range, in my opinion. Not that he doesn't have a mid-range, but Dwayne Wade was freaking lethal from the mid-range, dude. His turn fade on the baseline, you knew it was coming. It was still going in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's still, yeah.
Dwayne Wade was nasty from the mid-range. If Johnny Davis gets to that point with his body control and ability to finish, whoa, watch out. But that's a very, very good question. Not to say that I don't think Ivy's going to turn into a good player, because he is.
The other thing with Johnny Davis in the NBA that kind of got to take with a grain of salt is that when Johnny Davis walks onto an NCAA floor, everybody knows he's the best player on the floor. When Johnny Davis walks into the NBA, he's not going to have 3, 4, 5 guys looking at him every time he touches the ball.
Dude, that actually is working into my next point, because I wanted to talk about how Purdue was defending him, because they were really just sticking to him, man. All eyes were on him. But I thought the ball movement was, oh my God, supreme. That is the best ball movement I've seen all freaking year. That goes into the point of Mikey saying that this was the best game from the bench. That's because everybody was moving, everybody was touching, everybody was involved. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that we like to see. That's, you go back to the Bucks last year. That's when we seen the best Bucks teams. When everybody's moving, touching the ball, cutting. You set better screens when you touch the ball. You cut to the rim harder when you think you can get the ball. I mean, you just keep everybody engaged and involved. That's just the stuff that you need. And
all that does is open everything up for everybody else too.
It does.
And especially like the Bucks are really good at this when they do it with Giannis and Middleton, where Middleton will start on, like, if my hands are the 3-point line, like Middleton will start over here. He'll run all the way around the baseline. Giannis will set a screen for him on the block, and everybody's watching Chris Middleton because he's just running in a giant circle. And then nobody sees that Giannis is going to get a wide open alley-oop because everybody's looking at Chris Middleton.
Well, I mean, it helps that you have to guard a guy like Bobby Portis, who now apparently has 8 3-pointers in a game.
He does do that.
That helps. That helps, I will say.
Do you guys want to say anything else about the Purdue game specifically before I ask you guys a few questions, and then Jake and I do our power pair?
I just want to say, I think that the Badgers' ability to not turn the ball over is just something that is just special. We talk about it with Aaron Rodgers. He never turns the damn ball over, and it's magical to see. The Badgers' ability to just always get quality shots and take care of the basketball, and their ability to defend. They're all in this on defense. It's like they're attached at the hands,
Right.
So they take care of the ball, they get quality shots, and they defend together. That gives them a shot against everybody.
And they defend without fouling. The fact that they can defend without fouling is an art.
I did look it up the first game. Vogt, Crowell, and Tyler Wall all fouled out of that game.
They did.
All of them.
Man.
Listen to me, I'm the smart guy.
I knew it was either on the brink or Vogt fouled out. But
I thought the centers just fouled out. I thought Wall survived, but Wall had 5 fouls. That's what the box.
Did you hear? Did you hear the announcer after Chucky made his bank shot?
No, what did he say?
LePay?
He goes, "Oh, it's a glass factory."
Or the ESPN error.
That was the ESPN.
Or Benetti.
No. My favorite line from the game was when Wall kind of got stuck in the post against Edey, and he was like, he's trying to work around Edey. That's a $20 fare ticket. I was like, Jesus Christ. It is, because he's massive. That was my favorite one.
That's awesome. All right, so I have 3 questions that I want to ask you guys. One I kind of touched on a little bit is, one, do you think there are too many whistles in college basketball?
Yes. I think so, personally. I mean, any given day of the week, I mean, every team that's like kind of on the losing side of it, the fan base typically, does like to express their opinions about the refs, whatever. That's totally fine. But I think, there are times when, refs do control the game, unfortunately. I think there's definitely been a couple examples of Badger games this year where both teams have gotten to like the double bonus with like 10 to 12 minutes to go in the game. And, that's after a while, it's just like, what the hell are we doing
here? The Illinois game was like that for me. And every time Coburn touched the ball, if he didn't score, he got fouled. Like, I think my notes from that game, like, it was like 7 straight possessions where if he didn't score, that he got a foul call.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was like 11 and a half minutes that there was double bonus. So it's like, okay, cool. So we lost this game because Illinois is going to shoot 35 free throws. And if you don't, you try to play a little conservative, he's just going to score on you because he's 7'3".
Yeah, and he weighs 370,000 pounds.
Yeah,
compared
so it's
to
like,
our
okay,
freaking string bean center.
So right after that happened, it's like, okay, well, I feel like this game's over already because he's either going to score or get fouled.
Yeah. They actually called him for Edey last night. where he was posting up and they called a foul like right before he got the ball. I was like, "Are you serious, bro? This guy's laying on me. He's heavy, okay? What the hell do you expect? I'm not gonna push him. He's huge. Like, what do you expect Crowell to do in that situation, ref? Like, come on, man. That's some BS. That's how I feel. It's stupid. You got to be able to push the guy.
I don't want to say. I guess it comes down to the officiating crew and what they're seeing right away from like the start of the game. But I mean, collectively, yeah. I mean, I think it is becoming more of an issue, unfortunately. But it's a grain of salt, because I take it with a grain of salt at some point too, because I don't know, each crew has their own agenda, has their own way of like how they deal with things, and it's a game by game basis, I guess. It's a tough question to answer collectively overall, I guess. Yes, I think the whistle does get blown a little more than it should, but it comes down to the whole officiating crew that's doing it too, in my book.
For me, it usually comes down to like the last, say, 2 minutes or so. After the Purdue game, the Badgers are now 15-1 in games decided by 6 or less. 15-1. They've had 16 games decided by 6 or less points, and they've won 15 of them. That's just absurd to me.
But all those 15 in a row, by the way. 15 in a row. Yep. They lost their first one. 15 Providence. W's.
Yeah. All of that, the last few minutes end up being so crucial. It's the last 2 or 3 minutes. Just blow the whistle, just a smidge less. Let it be more about the players. I've asked this of the NBA as well. When it comes down to the last, the crunch time, the clutch time, the last 2 to 3 to 5 minutes, just blow the whistle. Just take 10% off your whistle.
I'm with that, because that's what I want to see. I want to see guys go at each other. And if you're not going to call that foul on Ivy, let's go at it, baby. Hey, mano y mano, pound for pound. I want to see who's better. I don't want the refs bailing anybody out, because that's weak to me.
Yeah, it cheapens the product, honestly, is what it does.
Yeah, I agree.
Brad brought up that he's hard to ref because he's big and strong like Shaq. It's basically a thing where when his arms are this far above everybody else's arms, you see like jerky movement a lot more. So when Ivy gets an offensive rebound and you see his arm go like that, it's like, oh, he must have gotten hit. Because, he's up here above everybody else. So you have a better view of what's happening to him, or somebody hits his hand. You're going to see all that stuff where if a smaller guy grabs a rebound and he brings it down and then there's a scrum, you're going to get a jump ball more often than you're going to get a foul.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Edey does a really great job when he grabs a rebound and not bringing the ball down. That's one thing that he's very well coached on. He's 7'4", so he's grabbing that ball. He's staying right here. So if he gets fouled, you see it. The thing about, and I think he's referring to Coburn, by the way, but Coburn, he is hard to ref, man. He's just so big, and you got to give him some calls because he's going to get hit. But you got to allow the defender to push him a little bit, in my opinion.
Well,
that's how I feel.
When it's a 7-footer on a 7-footer, that's where, like we were just saying, like, let some stuff go. Let them play a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I want to see 2 giant dudes run into each other. Maybe I signed up for that.
Let Purdue and Illinois go at it, and then we'll just take the winner, all right? I don't want to play both of them in the tournament.
Well, hey, we're only a week away. Next Wednesday is when the tourney starts.
I'm torn if I want to play Michigan State or not, because they are reeling.
I do not. They figured it out, and I do not. I want to avoid
Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan State.
Because they get their breaks beaten off last night at Michigan.
Yes.
Michigan. I don't know if I want to play Michigan right now.
I don't want to play.
Bro, you see him going at Izzo, bro?
I don't want to see Hutchinson with his stuff figured out.
I mean, Iowa's gotten way better. Although I would like to play Iowa.
I'd be okay with Iowa. That'd be a good game. I feel like the Badgers would win that one.
I do not fear Iowa one bit, no matter how good they are. Put Luka Garza back on that team. I just don't respect Iowa in their fans. I'm sorry. Curtis, I love you. Iowa they're super irrelevant to me in my book. The Franimal, he hasn't collectively won anything for them. No Big Ten, hasn't made a Sweet 16 in his life. Iowa is just irrelevant to me in college basketball overall.
We kind of need to cheer for Iowa though.
I know, but that's just get that point out there real quick.
All right.
Yeah.
So my next question kind of ties into the beginning of this game. Johnny Davis was doing a lot of facilitating early in this game. It took, I think it was like 7 minutes into the game before he even attempted a shot, and it was one that he forced. Because you could tell that he wanted to shoot the ball because he hadn't shot.
Yeah.
So in your mind, how can Johnny Davis combat double and sometimes triple teams?
Jake, if you want,
Just move the ball. I mean, you got to take what the defense is giving you, right? So when he forces a bad 3-point shot, I kind of looked at it and I'm just like, bro, you're better than that. That goes back to coaching. Get him on the block. If you want to double him there, it's a lot easier. You're going to get an open 3-pointer. But that also goes on the other players, right? It goes to coaching and the other players. You got to knock down shots. You know, we mentioned Tyler Wall only has 6 threes, but when he hit that 3, you know, and they talked about it on the TV, you know, the color commentator, I think it was Robbie Hummel, actually, a former Purdue player.
Yep.
And he stayed in the middle very well, in my opinion. I know he was cheering for Purdue deep down, but he stayed in the middle very well. He talked about it that changed the psyche of Purdue and Edey because he had to move out and go get him. Mm-hmm. So if guys like Hepburn and Wall and, you know, Crowell always hits timely threes. We talk about that a million times. Now, if those guys can continue to make shots, I mean, that's the only thing really that's going to take away from the double and triple teams. And if you really want to be shocked, look at the box score from this Purdue game, and then go look at the one from the last time. Holy shit. That's all I'm going to say. Holy shit. It's crazy.
All right, I'm going to pose my last question, and then I'm going to go look it up. Who is the Badgers' most clutch player?
Oof. I mean,
there you go. You could. Yep. Go ahead and try to pick one.
Should we just pick one separate player each and just?
I know it's still Johnny. It's still Johnny.
He got a roadkill half of the year. If we're gonna be honest, I mean, we basically put everything on him the first half. Overall, the first half of the year, especially, the ball was put in Johnny's hands, and he got us out of a lot of, you know, sticky situations. So, you know, overall, obviously, a lot of the other role players are chipping in now, and it's awesome to see. But you know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, the conference player of the year. It's your best player, national player of the year. It's Johnny Davis, and
you put some respect on that boy.
Yeah,
Hey, I like Brad's pick a Wall because that's the only other person I was thinking of. Because Chucky really didn't start becoming clutch until last night. Okay,
none of these are bad picks.
he's had some big shots, but it's Johnny. Oh, my dad says, you're not excited to see your kid? Huh? Just Yoder?
Well, Pat.
That's crazy, man. I'm disowned.
That's all right. Whatever. I'm just here.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that somebody else said Wall. We know what Chucky just did last night, and the way that his confidence, you can see it in him, has just skyrocketed. Like, he's got the confidence of a junior or senior in him at this point. You can see it when he scores. I also just want to throw out, you know, if we're in a situation where we're up by a couple points, the other team's fouling, who do you want to get the ball to?
As the ball handler?
If the other team's going to foul, who do you want to get the ball to?
Okay, honestly, Brad Davison. I made
Brad
a mistake. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay.
So there could be a case for Brad Davison.
Yeah.
Personally,
just at the free throw line. I don't want him freaking shooting.
Right. So I also want to throw out there, maybe 1,000 times since the beginning of this season, how many times have we said that Steven Crowell has made a timely basket?
Bro, he does it all the time.
He does it like 4 times a damn game.
Yeah.
Man.
Dude, I'm pretty sure his free throw percentage is like in the high 80% range too. I know he hasn't shot many overall, but that's a dude that I wouldn't mind sending to the free throw line either at the end of the game. Should he, you know?
But he missed last night, right?
Steven Crowell, he knocks down threes at the most crucial.
Oh, Brad,
times.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around how Steven Crowell always scores at the best possible time.
Yeah, that was wild. And again, that was over Edey. Well, it wasn't exactly over him, I don't think. But like Edey was bodied up against him, so it was a tough angle to
He
put
made
that
one.
in. And,
He made one in the lane, and he made a 3-pointer last night.
yeah, that was nuts to
You
say the
could
least.
the way that it goes around, and you could make the case for all 5 of the starters for being the Badgers' most clutch player.
Easily.
That's why I wanted to call it.
Everyone's
36 of 45. 36 of 45 from the free throw line. So he's 80%.
80%. Okay.
That's pretty solid for a big man. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it is.
But we've seen what the benefit of it is for the Bucks when Brook Lopez is playing, because you can't hack a Shaq him.
Right.
Shit, after last night and a couple games this year, Giannis is starting to become a problem from the free throw line, dude.
Oh, you're getting ahead of
Seriously.
me, big boy. Oh,
Seriously,
slow down.
man.
Let's do our Badgers power pair before we get into the
All right, buddy.
All right. Badgers power pair. Give me your 2, Jake, because I guarantee you I have at least one different.
I have Johnny Davis and Chucky Hepburn.
All right. Why?
Well, Johnny Davis is always the best player on our team, and he's always the leading scorer, and he always leads us. And Chucky Hepburn was just consistent, good. He took care of the ball. He scored well this week. He's just, honestly, he made 6 of 10 3-pointers this week. So he's shooting great from behind the arc, shooting great from the field. I love Chucky Hepburn. I don't want to have a love fest on here, but he's becoming my favorite player.
I'm looking forward. This is obviously way in the future, but I'm looking forward to next year's Badgers primer and having Chucky Hepburn and Steven Crowell running the pick and roll.
Yes.
Dad, you have to have 2. It's called a power pair.
Yeah. I mean that would be my power pair as well. Johnny and Chucky. I mean, it's unreal how much Chucky has grown up, especially these last 3 games. If we want to do just do a simple, breakdown of that, just very recently, he got us out of a lot of situations as well at Rutgers specifically, and obviously last night as well. I said it earlier. I have no problem going to him if we need a bucket, if we need a shot. Obviously when in situations where even when the shot clock does go down, even though it hasn't that much for this team this year, which is very surprising compared to years past. He's a guy that, can get a shot up for us if need be, whether that's in the post or on the top of the key. I think that's like a huge difference from like what a guy like Demetric Trice was doing, where he was just chucking from the top of the key for the most part when the shot clock went down. Whereas Chucky can get to certain spots and like get good.
He can get baseline a little bit too.
Yeah, correct. So that's why in those types of situations, I do feel comfortable, with him putting up those types of shots. And Jake said it before, with Johnny's just being Johnny, it's just been a pleasure just watching him this year. And, it's going to suck after he goes to the league after one really, really solid year with us. But he got us a Big Ten championship, and that's, I hope he brings us a natty too. But he couldn't really bring us much more after that. So
if he brings us a natty, he can go to the league. I'll be fine.
Man.
So the other thing with Chucky, Brad has my power pair. I have Chucky Hepburn and Tyler Wall. I left Johnny Davis off just for basically 2 reasons, just to give some credit to some other guys, because it's like Giannis with the Bucks. He's the MVP of the team, so you expect to hear his name often. And his field goal percentage was a little iffy this week. With Chucky Hepburn, the other thing that he did really well is he played really well when he got into foul trouble. He had 4 fouls last night, and he had 3 fouls against Rutgers. So Chucky Hepburn, when he needed to be extra disciplined and not take fouls, he was able to do that. So that's a credit to his defense to not go and get that 4th foul, that 5th foul. And then Tyler Wall. So between Chucky Hepburn and Tyler Wall, they both averaged 15 points in these 2 games. Tyler Wall in the 2 games, 15 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 steals. He had 2 steals in the Rutgers game and 5 steals in the Purdue game. And his field goal percentage, the 2 games, he was 12 of 19, 63.2% from the field.
That's pretty damn
Tyler
good.
Wall, like I said, all these guys are scoring, and Tyler Wall is scoring everywhere in between. So
True.
I had Tyler Wall and Chucky Hepburn. So
not a bad one.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say about the Badgers before we bid Mike adieu and start talking about the Bucks?
Next week is going to be fun. We got to preview the Big Ten tournament, maybe see our road to the Big Ten tournament title, and then we might have a more clear picture on the NCAA tournament. So I'm excited about that. Mikey, try to bring as many people as you can in here. We're going to do a little tournament thing here.
Yep.
Just remind them that last place takes a pie to the face.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'll be ready. God forbid. I'll be ready to go for that.
Mikey, you're automatically in there, by the way.
Everybody in the middle gets nothing, but first and last, those are the two places.
Yes. Everybody in the middle just gets to watch somebody win and somebody take a pie. So, but yeah.
All right, I'm gonna address something real quick here.
All right.
I think, and this is more. I don't know who I'm happy for most for in terms of this program overall with the Badgers. But I do think, everyone gets their piece of the pie or whatever. But Greg Gard, I don't think people understand how much Greg Gard has been through leading up to this season. This is 2 Big Ten titles in the last 3 years, okay? Let's think about what has happened during that time. One of our best players at the time decides to leave during the season, right? Okay, whatever. We still, win the Big Ten, all right? If we have an NCAA tournament that year, I think we get close to a Final Four because we were on like a 10-game winning streak, whatever. All right, season over. Come in next year, high expectations, right? We don't have that great of a year. What happens? We get this tape leak that comes out with all these players just, barking at the coach for God knows what. There's obviously stuff going on beyond the scenes. You got an assistant coach who is literally coming after this dude's job in the middle.
Wisconsin legend, by the way.
Orlando Tucker, might be the leading scorer. I forget, whatever. Legend, like you said. All right. After all of this, Greg Gard has found a way to put a winning basketball team on the floor and not only win the Big Ten, but has the chance to win it outright on Sunday. The Greg Gard slander needs to go. It needs to go out the window now. I am sick and tired of, so many people calling this guy out. There is no need for that anymore at this point. What else do you want from this guy? I'm sorry, I do not consider us a blue blooder by any means. We're not. I would love to win a natty, but you cannot ask for much more at this point, especially for a guy who's following in the footsteps of Bo Ryan, and he didn't get the job by going through the whole interviewing process. Okay, obviously Bo knew this guy was ready for the job, and he's okay. There's no excuses anymore. These are now Greg Gard's recruits. Okay, there's stuff going back to when Nigel Hayes and Bronson were still playing for Greg. Oh yeah, that doesn't count. That's not Greg's guys. Those are Bo's guys. Well, guess what? These last 3 years, these have been Greg Gard's guys. We have 2 Big Ten championships playing against some of the best players in the country. My point being, Greg Gard slander needs to go. Needs to be gone. We've also shown that we can bring in a guy like Johnny Davis into this program and turn him into an NBA player through development. Check that.
Pick.
Okay.
Yep.
That's another thing. That was another thing about this program. Oh yeah, we can't bring in any 5-star recruits or anything like that because we can't prepare them from the league. Well, now look
at a bunch of hogwash now.
It's a bunch of hogwash. So,
sorry
for going off, but I want to make a point on this podcast.
I want to add one more thing before we say goodbye to you. With that point, too, this doesn't affect Greg Gard as much, but I guarantee you it affected him as one of his main assistants being in a really, really, really bad car crash that claimed, 2 of his family members?
Correct.
And having one of your main assistants gone for the whole season.
Yeah.
Forgot to bring that up.
That's what opened the door for Orlando Tucker.
Yeah. It's
to be one of his assistants last year.
You can't tell me no one else has gone through more with these past 3 seasons and have this success that we have had.
And not even just to have the success, but to exceed the expectations.
By a
we all had them as a 19 or 20 win team.
Yeah.
And we were being a little bit homerish. Let's be honest. I mean, they were
I said
picked to
11th seed. I said 20 wins and 11th seed. I'm pretty sure when I was at the beginning of the year.
I don't remember if I picked a seed, but I had them at 19 wins.
Here's the one thing that you got to add too is you got to add the degree of difficulty, because the Big Ten has been looked at as like what the best or second best conference in the nation the last couple of years. So
the last 2 weeks, there could have been 6 teams ranked if Rutgers had been given a little bit of credit for the run that they went on.
Yeah.
There could have been 6 Big Ten ranked teams
out of 25.
Real quick before we go, I just want to point out that I've been saying it for 3 weeks that Nebraska was going to upset somebody, and they fucking did it. So
you're right.
Listen to me.
You called it.
Ohio State is playing bad. They lost to Maryland and Rutgers and Nebraska back to back. That's bad. They're going the wrong way. And then Michigan and Michigan State, Iowa a little bit. They're all going this way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Michigan
I mean, Indiana and Ohio State, they'll still be in the tournament. Iowa will still be in the tournament. There's going to be probably close to 9-10 teams.
There might be. There might be 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right, Mikey. Well, when there's more Badger stuff to talk about, we'll definitely have you back.
Hell yeah,
yes,
guys.
Sir.
Thanks again for having me on. Appreciate it. Go Bucky. Let's go get that Big Ten tournament championship to the Natty.
We're going to have you on for the tournament episode, buddy.
All right. Sounds good, boys.
All right. See you later, Mike.
Peace out, buddy.
All right. So we're going to switch from college to NBA. And if I had to choose, like we have to talk about 2 games. If I had to choose between one shitty game and one good game to talk about, let's get the shitty one out of the way. So let's talk about the Nets game. Let's get it out of the way.
All right. I don't know where to start. There's just so much shit going on here. All right. So you look at this next game, and you're trying to break it down, right? You're trying to be like, where did we lose? Where did we mess up? Because like I said earlier, everybody's beating the Nets except apparently the Bucks. And this was the game that Bobby Portis decided to hit 8 threes, and we wasted that for some reason. But it was awesome to watch Bobby go crazy. Before I really dig into this, I want to mention something. I saw people kind of dogging Grayson Allen because he only had 7 points. All right, let me tell you. This is why you dig into stuff, okay? Look at the plus minuses. Who had the highest plus minus on the Milwaukee Bucks? Grayson Allen. He was plus 20.
Yeah, that's an analytics stat.
I don't care. It tells a lot of story. It tells a lot of the game.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. I'm an analytics guy.
He made an impact on the floor, clearly. He was plus 20. You know, you look at a guy like Drew Holiday. Holiday is looked at one of the best players in the league. He had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He was 7-9, 1 of 2 from 3, but he had 7 turnovers. 7 of our 15 total turnovers as a team. Yep. He had half of them. You dig into the free throws, right? As a team, the Milwaukee Bucks were 25 of 38. That is garbage. That is garbage.
Gross. That's gross. That's awful.
Now, the next thing you dig into, points in the paint. The Brooklyn Nets had 46 points in the paint to the Bucks 36. The Bucks should not be losing points in the paint. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Then, the last thing that I want to point out. Well, one of the last things I want to point out. You look at offensive rebounds, and this will definitely help when Brook is back because he's a great box-out guy.
Yes, he is.
The Bucks, 4 offensive rebounds. The Nets, 12 offensive rebounds. Mm-hmm. You miss free throws. You turn the ball over. You allow extra possessions. That's how you lose games to bad teams. And the Nets without KD, who, by the way, KD's going to be back on Thursday against the Heat. You lose. The Nets are bad without KD, okay? I don't care if Kyrie had a greght game, 38, 5 and 5. He's one of those guys, dude. When he gets cooking, he's cooking, okay? You're not stopping him. But, you look at this game, you're looking at turnovers, free throws, all this stuff. It's just like, why the hell did we lose to them? That's just how I felt.
I'm going to double down on literally everything you just said, which was turnovers, free throws, and offensive rebounds.
Yep.
So, free throws. Bucks missed 13 free throws. In a game, you lose by 3. Fucking turnovers. The Bucks 14. You mentioned the 7 by Drew Holiday. Brooklyn had 7 total. And oh my god, This is my least favorite stat. Points off of turnovers.
Yeah.
Brooklyn had 27 points off turnovers. 27 points off of 14 turnovers. They scored almost every single time the Bucks turned the ball over. That, in a game you lost by 3 points.
Yeah.
So that, and then second chance points. So I have it. Second chance points. I have it in here somewhere. Brooklyn, 12 offensive rebounds. The Bucks did win the total rebounding battle, but like Jake mentioned, 4 offensive rebounds to Brooklyn's 12. Brooklyn, 19 second chance points.
Yep.
19 second chance points and 27 points off of free throws or off of turnovers. That's 46 points. Subtract the 13 that you left on the board or off the board with the free throws. That is a 59-point advantage that you gave Brooklyn by not doing shit you're supposed to do.
All right, and what is that?
59 points!
That's how you lose the bad teams, right?
Holy hell!
Yeah.
You lost by 3 and you spotted them 59 by not making free throws, turning the ball over, and not boxing out.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Holy hell!
Yeah, that's bad. That's
disgusting.
Yeah.
That's like as bad of basketball as you can play in a game that is. There's a lot of athleticism and there's 3-point shooting and stuff's exciting to watch, but like take a page out of the Badgers book and play with some damn fundamentals.
Yeah.
God,
this game definitely goes on
I didn't
holiday.
add all that up. I didn't put all that together now until I just did it. But like I had it all separately, but that, like I said, that 59-point number by just not doing what you're supposed to do, that's November shit, not stretch run.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Not
so
February
you mentioned Grayson Allen. He was back.
Yeah.
He looked to be under a minutes restriction. He only played 22 minutes. Normally when guys are coming off injuries, they usually keep him around 20 minutes or so. DeAndre Bembry and Javon Carter made their debuts in this game. Talk about them a little more in the Hornets game. I got to say, there are few guys in the NBA who can match Giannis for size, strength, and athleticism. Bam Adebayo is one that comes to mind. James Johnson is one of those guys. James Johnson he's not a gifted offensive player, but he is strong, he's big, and he's athletic. So that's the main reason that Brooklyn went and got him, is to have somebody to put on Giannis. Yep. Bobby ran a little 6-0 run in 20 seconds. The first quarter was good. It was a lot of back and forth. The second quarter was whatever, but Drew Holiday made a layup at the 9:48 mark in the second quarter. 6 possessions in a row, both teams scored. So a lot of back and forth in the first half. Bobby Portis had 14 and 8 at halftime. Giannis had 14 in the first half, and Chris Middleton had 11 in the first half. Second half, the first 3 minutes of the third quarter, a lot more back and forth, and then from the 9-minute to 8-minute and 14-second mark, Brooklyn goes on an 8-0 run, ends up becoming a 12-0 run, and the Nets just keep on scoring. They just keep scoring and keep scoring and keep scoring. Kyrie and Curry are hitting threes. Drummond is scoring in the restricted circle. They ended up building a 13-point lead 3 times, and then Bobby Portis went on another 8-0 run. So Bobby Portis scored a bunch in this game, but he did it in really big chunks, and it just couldn't get the Bucks over the top. Bucks cut the lead to 5. Nash called a timeout. Chris Middleton scored 7 points in the last minute and 17 seconds of the third quarter, cut the lead down to 3. And then, Brooklyn scored 43 points in the third quarter. But the careless turnovers. Just the ones where you're making passes to nobody. You're just dribbling the ball, like just literally just letting the ball fall out of your hands. It happened to Drew and it happened to Giannis. They're dribbling and the ball just jumps out of their hands.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. They tied the game at 11-16 and 10-42. Brooklyn pushed the lead back up to 7. And then the missed free throws started happening. So we already talked about that. And then the end of the game, I think I saw something like the last 2 minutes of the game ended up taking like 30 minutes or something like that because of all the fouling. Because Brooklyn's up by 3 points. Why not foul and give the Bucks 2 points if they make their free throws, which they didn't anyways. And you just keep trading 2 and 2 and 2. You know, worst case scenario, we're up by 1 as long as you make free throws. So, Bobby Portis finished with 30 points, 12 rebounds, career high 8 threes. Giannis 29, 14, and 6. He was 8 of 20 on field goals. Was kind of okay. Chris Middleton had a nice bounce back game. He was 8 of 13, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. And then Jake mentioned Drew Holiday was 7 of 9 and finished with 19 points. But like I said, those 3 things that you're supposed to do when you play basketball, which is to box out, make your free throws, and not turn the ball over. If you do those things at an average level, the Bucks win this game by 10.
Yep.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily by 10.
Well, I just wanted to say something. You know, Giannis talked before the All-Star break about how, you know, because teams were kind of in All-Star break mode, that they wanted to try to stack some W's. Well, then you come out of the All-Star break and you know, like, Giannis has been in the league for a long time now. He's been a champion, been an MVP. He's our leader, and you know it's go time. And to me, you know, at times on defense, they kind of just felt flat. Like they weren't competing as hard. And you look at the offensive rebounds, and that kind of tells that story where it kind of just seems like Brooklyn was just running a little bit harder on that night. And that kind of bothers me. I'm not going to lie. We're going to play a game against the Heat tonight, and the Heat never lack effort. And if you want to repeat as champions, they say it's harder to win the second championship than it is to win the first. And we know how damn hard they fought for that one, right? So if you want to make some noise...
Giannis missed 2 games with a hyperextended knee.
Yeah, I know. And I know that we're going to talk about this Hornets game. We're going to feel a lot better, especially about Drew Holiday, because he had a very, very nice bounce-back game.
Yep.
But we got 6 tough games in a row here. There's one little hiccup game where it's a little easier, but we got a nice 6-game stretch here. We're really going to find some shit out about the Milwaukee Bucks.
Dude, I wrote 2 articles about this last weekend. One was about Giannis's pre-performance or pre-All-Star break performance, and one was goals for the rest of the season. Giannis has now surpassed Jokic for player efficiency rating. He has a .13 better player efficiency rating, which is insane. Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid are currently, this season, the top 3 player efficiency ratings of all time.
Yeah, that's insane.
This season, 3 of them happening in the same season.
That's insane.
That is insane. So my thing was, if Giannis can round this out the rest of this season, lead the Bucks to a great record, the Bucks have the hardest remaining schedule in the NBA.
Yeah.
If the Bucks can run through this and come out with a lot of signature wins, I really believe that Giannis can win the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year again. He'd be the first ever to do it twice.
Yep.
And if the Bucks can win another championship, we're going to get into Giannis GOAT talk, honestly.
Oh, if he wins that and we go back to back and he's only 27, you get ready. Get ready.
Oh my God. I don't know if I'll need to put it in a bonus episode or if I just need to make a graphic for it or do it on the show. If I have the Giannis and Kevin Garnett argument one more time, I'm going to break something. Maybe it'll be my phone. It's such a stupid argument.
I know what to do. I know what to do. Hold on. I'm going to talk so you calm down because I don't want you to lose your shit. Listen, you just need to make a graphic with some totals and your opinions, and then every time that somebody says something, post that. That's the only comment you need to make. Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
The problem is that the graphic for Kevin Garnett would be this big, and the graphic for Giannis would be like this big.
And he's only 27. He's only 27.
That's one of the main things that Garnett has is longevity. Kevin Garnett played like 21 seasons.
And when Giannis plays 21 seasons, he'll be a top 5 NBA scorer of all time. He'll be close to probably top 10, top 5 in rebounds. He'll be up there in blocks. I mean, and he'll probably be up there in MVPs, maybe Defensive Player of the Years, maybe championships. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows that the Bucks don't just win 3 straight titles, and we're
Dude.
going crazy over here, right?
I mean, it's within the realm of possibility. So, the people that deal in absolutes so often, I would encourage you not to. And this is something that you can apply not just to the way that you approach your fandom, but you apply this to your life too. You don't have to deal in such an absolute to say that because the Bucks lost this game to the Nets, that they're not gonna win anything this year, or the Bucks deserve to be a play-in team, or we're back to fire Budenholzer. Like, you don't have to go that extreme because of one loss. Like, yeah, it sucks. Like, I just rattled off 3 things that gave Brooklyn a 59-point advantage. But we're going to talk about this Hornets game in a second. And the Bucks balanced it all right back out.
Well, you talk about absolutes in life, right? And then you wonder why nobody wants to talk politics anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's another thing. But switching to the Hornets game, and it's funny that I used the word switching because that was not intentional, because the Bucks need to stop doing it. And especially when they're playing against good point guards, they need to stop switching so much, because they did it against Kyrie and he scored a shit ton of points. And then they started doing it in the Charlotte game, and LaMelo Ball had 13 points in the first quarter. He made some tough threes, but stop switching so much when teams have good point guards.
Dude, Ball was an all-star this year,
Yeah.
Deservingly so. He kind of got snubbed at first, but LaMelo Ball is a gamer, dude. He can ball.
Yeah.
No, pun not intended.
Yeah, whatever. So Bucks were down 16-9, went on a 10-0 run. I was really surprised to see Charlotte defending Giannis with Plumlee instead of Harrell. That to me seemed like it was the kind of a move that they went to get a big man that could defend with some dog in him. Yeah. And then they didn't even use him against Giannis. They stuck Plumlee on him for most of the game. I
don't really think it mattered either. But
I brought up this. I wanted to be able to display this on the screen, but I didn't have a way to do it. It was at one point in the game, Giannis catches the ball like the elbow extended, and he drives. I'm just going to see if I can show this. Okay, and he drives, and you can see that he's not driving to the basket. He is driving to the middle of the free throw line circle.
Uh-huh.
And Plumlee does not recognize that. Giannis follows up this drive by spinning to the basket for a layup.
Yeah, that was a beautiful move, by the way.
Why you're trying to defend Giannis with a slow center is beyond me.
Well, every center's slow compared to Giannis. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, you throw Bam Adebayo out there, DeAndre Ayton should be able to defend Giannis better than he did in the finals. But other than that, I mean, like, Anthony Davis is a center.
No. I'm sorry.
He plays center, but
hey, listen, there's levels. And Anthony Davis, hey, he's a little light in the britches, when it comes to guarding Giannis. He ain't made for that life. He's got skill. Yes. I won't lie, but he is not made to get thrown around. Which I don't want to talk about that Charles Oakley thing, but I do, because it's so freaking stupid.
We'll do it. Let's finish talking about the Hornets game, and then we'll do it.
Okay.
What I was very, very happy, the second quarter. So if you don't want to have to struggle with the third quarter, just end the game in the second quarter would be my suggestion to you.
Yeah, that's what they did.
So what the Bucks did, though, was they built and they grew a lead with Giannis on the bench. That is a huge thing. Do not lose that on this game. I don't care who they're playing. They're all professional basketball teams. I don't want to hear, well, it's the Hornets. They're a play-in team. They grew a lead with their best player on the bench. I don't give a damn who you are or who you're playing. You grew a lead with your best player on the bench. Then your best player comes back in, and the lead gets bigger. That is stretch run shit.
Yeah.
So that Brooklyn game is what not to do. The second quarter of this Bucks-Hornets game, that is what you do. There. That was the main thing that I wanted to hit on this was that you can tilt games that, maybe an even matchup or an uphill game like the Bucks and Heat tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The Heat are the 1 seed in the East right now. The Bucks are like somewhere in the 4 or 5. It's all really muddy because it's all still like 4 games separating first and sixth. But you can tilt games that are even or uphill battles in your favor, and that is how you win games that you're supposed to win. Like Trailblazers game right before the All-Star break. Giannis was out that game, but still a game you should win. Doing things like that is how you win games. That's what you should be doing. Okay, the Bucks are 4. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bucks in the second quarter, 44 points. Charlotte 21. That's just do what you did there. Giannis still just has his court vision on full display. Just hitting open shooters in the corners. Like when Pat Connaughton's back, that's going to be him too. But Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis, Javante Carter, even DeAndre Bembry, those two showed that they got a little bit to give. And maybe people will calm down on that.
Dude, if Carter can hit any threes, he's going to be a nice backup guard. I'll be honest. He competes on defense.
He does. That's why I was okay with the Bucks signing him. He's a 2-time Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year when he was at West Virginia. The Bucks kept pouring it on in the third quarter, and then it was basically it. Fourth quarter was just the reserves, and one thing I want to say that I was pleased to see is Serge Ibaka and Wesley Matthews only had to play 15 minutes each in this game.
That is key.
You get your vets. It's almost like a maintenance game, but they keep, they get some run, but they don't have to play too much. You don't have to play 30 minutes or whatever. The last point that I want to make before we talk about the end of the game: the Bucks 44 points in the second quarter. The Hornets 44 points in the second and third quarter combined.
Yep.
That's how you win games. Close the book.
100%.
All right. What do you want to say about this game before we talk about totals and such?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is the cool stat from Giannis.
All right, do it
up. He had his fifth 25-point, 15 rebound, 5 assist game in less than 30 minutes of game time. No other player since 1980 has more than one. So that was his fifth game doing that. So needless to say, Giannis is good at basketball.
That's why I brought up the per 36 minute thing a couple weeks ago, and people were like, oh, it's only per 36 minutes. That's an advanced metric, whatever. It shouldn't be used to make an argument. Like, if you play 3 to 5 extra minutes in a game and you score a couple extra points and maybe like 1 extra rebound or something like that, like, how is it a credit that Giannis can do more in less time? Like, it's somehow not a credit to him that he's more efficient.
Just use your stat that you talked about with Middleton. He scored 7 points in the last 2 minutes, right? So if you score 7 points,
seconds, like that's
minute 17. So if you score 7 points every final minute 17, that's not an advantage for you. Come on,
that's like, and the fact that it can be measured into a level playing field. Like, not every sport has the way that you can do that. I mean, you can, but you have to use percentages and stuff. Per 36 minutes measures if everybody played the same amount of time.
Yeah.
They do the math for you.
Yeah, that's literally the most even you can get. I mean, I don't understand the logic behind that
and
either.
It shows you what players do if they play the same amount of time.
Yep.
And if somebody's stats are better in the same amount of time, that means they're a more efficient player, especially since Giannis is only averaging like 32 minutes a game.
Yeah, so we're going to find the per 32 next, or what?
I just mean, like, comparing him to somebody like Embiid or Luka, who play like 35, 39 minutes a game. Like, right. Giannis gets it done in 3 to 5 to 7 less minutes a game.
And when you really break it down, right, over the totality of a season, that adds up to a lot of minutes. Think about that, man. Seriously. Yeah. 5 minutes over 82 games, that's a shit ton, Yeah. And I'm not saying he plays 5 less minutes on average, but it's probably pretty close, to be honest with you.
I mean, the fact that Giannis can be like top 3 in scoring, top 15 in rebounds, top 20 in assists, and top 10 in blocks while being like 40th in minutes is insane.
Yeah, dude, he doesn't even play 3 full quarters.
That's what the per 36 minute is. It would be 3 full quarters.
That's so stupid. He doesn't even play 3 quarters. It's so dumb. He's so good. God.
And he's so efficient.
Thank God he's a Buck, dude. I'm so excited for the game now. All this is doing is getting me excited to watch the game.
I know. And we got like an hour and a half before it starts yet.
I know. I love that we're starting earlier, by the way. It's so much nicer.
Is it a 6 o'clock game or is it a 7 o'clock game?
I think it's a 7 o'clock because it's in Milwaukee. It's in Milwaukee.
I thought it was 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's in Milwaukee. Yeah, it's 7. So we still have an hour until game time.
All right, that's what I thought.
But here, let me break this game down real quick. First of all, I wanted to point out, thank you, Drew Holiday, for not turning the ball over this game after you had 7. He did a much better job taking care of the ball. He ended with 21, 6, and 8, 7 of 15, 5 of 8 from the 3-point line. James, I'm gonna come at you in a sec here, buddy. I didn't forget about yesterday. I did not forget. Bobby Portis, another double-double, 20 and 10. This guy. Hey, watch for it because my stat of the week is going to be Bobby Portis, month of February. He absolutely balled out. He's going to be in my power pair again. I mean, the guy is just going crazy. Giannis, 26, 16, and 6. Again, I told you the stat. I wanted to give Grayson Allen another shout-out. He ended with plus 22. Back-to-back games being at least plus 20. I mean, that's the guy's on the floor and he's making plays. He's not going to be your first option, second option, third option, fourth option, right? He's probably the 5th option on the floor if you really break it down. So him giving you 11 points, shooting, and playing hard-nosed defense, that's all you asked for. The thing that made Dante expendable is that Grayson was a little bit better shooter and still give you that grit on defense, right? I love the Grayson Allen fit. Absolutely underrated move by John Horst.
Dude, that came out of nowhere, too. That's a wizard thing that John Horst is showing off why he's got an Executive of the Year award.
Yeah, and he traded for him, and you're just like, oh, wait, hold on, let me think about this.
Like we got Grayson Allen for Sam Merrill and 2 second-round picks, and then extended him for 2 years, $10 million.
And Dante was coming off an injury, and he shoots better than Dante, and he handles better than Dante. I'm thinking like, God damn, John, you went crazy, dude.
That's an example of a championship team getting better.
Here's the next part. So I wrote down points in the paint just like I did for the last game and offensive rebounds. So the Bucks still had 36 points in the paint, but they held Charlotte to 34. Much better. Then you look at offensive rebounds. Charlotte had 10. The Bucks had 17.
Bro, the Bucks had 62 rebounds in this game.
Yes. 17 of them were offensive. That is insane. They finished 32 of 37 on free throws, so they shot much better. Overall,
willing to bet that Budenholzer probably screamed at them in practice. They probably did nothing but fucking free throw drills in practice.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to use one of your terms, and you said a get-right game. That's exactly what this was. Everybody, people shot well, people played well. The plus-minuses were right. We did free throws right. We were more aggressive.
Massive rebounding advantage.
I mean, everybody touched the ball. I mean, they shot the ball pretty well. They had 18 3-pointers in this game on 45 attempts. So 18 out of 45, I'll take that. You're going to win a lot of games hitting 18 threes, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But when you really
the
break it down,
the turnovers is okay. 13 turnovers on an average. 13 turnovers is good.
You can live on 13.
Top 10. Yeah, that's top 10.
If you're getting 25 assists and you're in half of them, you're 2-to-1 on the turnover ratio.
Yep.
I'll live with that, especially if you're shooting the ball well. But this was just a much better offensive game.
All right. So before we do the power pair, let's discuss the Charles Oakley and then Isaiah Thomas comments.
Well, Charles Oakley sounds like a jealous old man, to be completely honest with you. Dude, you really think you stop at Giannis? Like, Isaiah Thomas literally said it perfect. Like, he's bigger than you. He's faster than you. He's stronger than you. He jumps higher than you. Like, dude, Charles, give it up, bro. Like, you made one All-Star game your entire freaking career, bro.
You want me to drop the mic on this conversation?
I do.
Charles Oakley made his Giannis would come off the bench prediction as a guest on a podcast. Isaiah Thomas made his Giannis would still be an MVP candidate in the 80s and 90s from NBA TV.
Yeah. That pretty much tells you where their careers are.
There's levels.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Charles Oakley ain't on Giannis's level. I'll tell you that right now.
Not even close.
Oakley's ass might have been out of the league if Giannis was an option.
So Isaiah Thomas compared Giannis to Ralph Sampson, who ended up having a bunch of injuries and didn't really get to find out what he was. But he was a big man that could handle the ball and play defense. Isaiah Thomas also mentioned Hakeem Olajuwon. And I get that people might not want to accept it, but Giannis is in that category of player. Like, Giannis doesn't have the footwork that Hakeem Olajuwon had, but Giannis has he's developing the post fade a little bit. Hakeem Olajuwon was like elite.
If you add in the Euro step, I'll give him some footwork. That's tough. Think about going through the paint. You got to maneuver. I'm just saying. Devil's advocate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But you add in the fact that Giannis can put the ball on the floor. Giannis can pass. Giannis is showing off his court vision. He really has been.
Mm-hmm.
And then you combine that with he's also a defender. Hakeem Olajuwon was also a defender. There's 3 people to ever have MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. It's Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Giannis.
Yep.
Giannis is on that level. He really is. And this is something Jake said a few weeks ago. I don't remember. I think it was when we were talking about Giannis, to be honest with you. It's hard to recognize greatness while you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, you might not like it, but Giannis is already on the level of these all-time great players. That's why he's already number 18 in the NBA 75 rating.
Dude, he's only 8 years into his career, bro. He could have
He's 27 years old.
He could have 8 more and double everything.
I was just going to say, he could double everything that he's already done.
Think about that.
He's in, like, I would say, like, the third year of a 6-year prime.
I would say a prime's probably about 6 years. I'd agree with that.
I'd give him till about 32 for a prime. For a guy that relies on his athleticism a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be interesting to see, 5 years from now, what Giannis does to evolve his game in the next,
If he
does
can
with the
develop
next
that
stage of his
turnaround,
career.
that post fade, bro, he'll last just fine.
Listen, all right, let's say this. Let's say at 33 that Giannis stops bringing the ball up the floor and he just plays as a post-up player and a defender and a rebounder.
Yeah.
You know what that makes him? Kevin Garnett.
Ha! You motherfucker. You motherfucker. Full circle, baby.
Yeah.
He just did a comedy stand-up. Full circle.
Kevin Garnett's not bringing the ball up the floor. He's not Euro stepping around people. Like, Kevin Garnett had a little bit of mid-range, but he's not. He doesn't do anything better than Giannis does. Like, Giannis doesn't have a rebounding championship, but Giannis spends a lot of time out on the perimeter defending guards.
He does one thing better. He talks shit. He talks hella shit.
I don't know if anybody's on Kevin Garnett's level when it comes to that.
Gary Payton, maybe.
Maybe.
Gary Payton, maybe. But he got laughed at by Michael Jordan, so now it's kind of over.
All right. So you already mentioned one of them. Give me your Bucks power pair. I'm guessing we have the same two, so I'll just take the other one.
Yeah. You want me to do Bobby or Giannis?
Those are also the two I had. You mentioned Bobby, so give me your Bobby stats and then throw out the one that you're going to use for your stat of the week.
So I'm not going to give the stat of the week yet because I'm going to make a sick
are you going to save it?
I'm going to make a sick-ass post for it. But I'm going to say this. Bobby Portis averaged a double-double, 25 and 11. He shot 56% from the field, and he ended up shooting 57% from the three-point line, 12 of 21. This guy is legitimately, like, it sounds crazy, but his growth as a three-point shooter is greater than Brook Lopez.
Yep,
and Brook Lopez is still a very good shooter. But Bobby Portis is a freaking sniper. Dude,
seriously, he's been working with the lethal shooter people for 2 years, and you can tell.
Bro, sometimes, so at the beginning of the year, he was just, pulling up, contested threes, and I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Bobby, you made some threes last year, but chill out, bro. He pulls that now, and I'm just like, bro, that's got to go in, bro. I feel like with Bobby and when Pat Connaughton are healthy, we have two legit snipers for contested threes. And I feel confident with them shooting
You could throw Grayson Allen into that mix.
And I'm not mentioning Chris Middleton because that guy is just a straight-up shot maker. Yeah. Not just threes, but mid-range. Yep. He's just a straight-up shot maker. And Holiday, when he's on, he could do that too. But you can mention Grayson Allen, but, dude, when Bobby and Pat are on the floor, dude, and they kick it out to him, even if you close out, a good closeout, I'm like, bro, they're going to make this. I feel good about it, you know?
Dude, that's why for a good while I was bringing up the Bobby Portis secondary transition.
Yeah.
When Bobby Portis will purposely just stand in the paint on the defensive end for 3 seconds, even though we've already got the rebound and gone up the floor.
Yeah.
Just so that everybody else is focusing on what's going on with the ball handler, and Bobby Portis just walks into a wide open three at the top of the key.
As the defense, you got to just be like, shit.
Yeah, we forgot about Bobby. Big Eyes is down there, and we left him there.
Giannis is getting guarded by 4 people going into the lane. Bobby wide open on top.
Yeah, and then you finally see Bobby, and then Giannis is throwing oops to himself off the backboard.
Sheesh. I don't understand. The Bucks are built for the playoffs. I'll say that. This roster is made for the playoffs, and Brooke is back at practice. So, and Pat should be coming back pretty soon.
Probably a couple weeks, yeah.
But yeah, once this roster starts, rounding out and getting back to totality here, whoo, baby. The Nets and Bucks is gonna be freaking fire for the second year in a row.
I want to play the Bulls too.
Oh, I do too, and I want to play the Celtics now because James thinks they have a chance. And I'll tell you what, there's at least 6 teams in the East that would smash the Celtics in the playoffs. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. The Heat, the Bulls.
A 7-game series, yeah.
Heat, Bulls, Bucks, Cavs, Nets. Sixers. That's 6 right there. Dude, the Sixers would absolutely wipe the floor. And I don't even like James Harden, but he looks real good for the Sixers. I'm just saying.
It's early yet.
All he has to do is get a screen from Embiid, who's gigantic and sends really good screens, and throw it down to Embiid, who is going to finish because he's leading the NBA in scoring. It's pretty easy for James Harden.
Yeah. I would be a little more concerned about Philly if they had been able to keep Seth Curry. Yeah, they're a little tapped on shooters, and now they're going to be relying on Danny Green, who, after the Lakers won the bubble championship, has just vanished off the face of the earth as far as three-point shooting is concerned.
That's fair.
And then they're looking at Jordas Niang and Furkan Korkmaz as their snipers.
Korkmaz can get hot, but Niang, he's a I'm sorry, I can't think of another word. But
either of those guys, I'm not excited about having to rely on in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're definitely not no Bobby Portis or Pat Connaughton. I'll tell you that freaking much.
Right. To me, in that situation, they end up kind of what Bryn Forbes was for the Bucks last year, where he could come in and flame throw a little bit, but it gets to a point where in the playoffs you're just going to be exploited.
That's fair. I mean, I still don't think the Celtics are making any noise, but I mean, let's be all right. Listen, if I had to rank the teams I want to play the Nets because people are still chirping about last year. I want to beat the hell out of them. And then the second team I want to play is the Bulls, and the third team I want to play is the Sixers easily. I just want to shut all those big cities up, dude.
I'm with that. I'm 100% with that. All right, so the other guy that we had for the power pair take, and I had the same too, is Giannis. In the 2 games, 27.5 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. His field goal percentage was okay. Giannis at the free throw line in the 2 games, 26 for 30.
Yeah.
86.7%. Could you imagine Giannis as an 85% free throw shooter?
I don't know. Ask the Suns. We got the title.
Wow. 14 for 14 against the Hornets. And like I mentioned, his player efficiency rating is now 0.13 above Jokic. That was basically the main sticking point for Jokic being MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Like his second one was Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray being injured, but the main thing for Jokic was his player efficiency rating. That was the main thing. So if Giannis can already leap Jokic as an MVP candidate, Embiid is the only other guy that he's looking at, and he just needs to beat him in scoring. Because like I wrote about it, I got the notebook right here. There's 4 statistics where Giannis could be career highs. He's currently averaging a career high in assists. If he stays above 6 assists, that'll be a career high for him. Mm-hmm. His scoring, his highest career scoring is 29.5. He's at 29.3 right now. His 3-point percentage, he's currently at a career high. And what's the last one? Player efficiency rating. He's currently on pace to break his own all-time record. If he can beat those 4 things, those career highs, the scoring, assists, 3-point percentage, and player efficiency rating, during the hardest remaining stretch in basketball, I don't see how you can't give Giannis the MVP.
I mean, we go through these next 6 games. Say the Bucks go 5-1, and Giannis just absolutely dominates. There would be no doubt in my mind that he'd be the leader and the MVP ladder after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be the only thing it's really going to come down to in my mind. Obviously, he needs to do the performance part of it, but he's just got to stay active. You can't have Giannis sitting games out. If he ends up sitting like 3, 4, or 5 games out, then he's just not going to win it because he's only going to end up with like 60 games played.
Yeah. So, the best ability is availability, right?
We know that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right. Do you have anything else that you want to say before we wrap up and then turn our eyes to the Bucks and Heat?
No, man. I hope they win tonight, obviously. And I hope they just absolutely just bounce the Bulls out of the building. But that Suns game is going to be interesting. Sunday prime time, that'll be a big-time game.
Yeah, no Chris Paul, which is a bummer for the Suns. Like, you want to beat teams when they're at their best. And obviously, we've said it 1,000 times on the show, you don't cheer for injuries. But, I mean, if the Bucks can get a confidence-building win, still think that.
I think Isaac just said that Booker had COVID, too, so Booker might be.
Yeah, Booker's in the protocols, yeah. Well, is that 4? I don't know if that's 4 or 5 days away. If he tests negative,
it's
he
Sunday.
might be able to play.
Sunday, yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, he might have to miss that one.
Either way, if they beat the Heat and the Bulls, that would definitely help us to, jump up some seeds in the East and kind of shut everybody up.
Yeah, maybe calm some people down because, like I said, just don't do the absolutes thing. Like you don't have to. You don't have to be that way with your sports teams or with your life.
Yeah, for real.
You I'm just trying to potentially keep some negativity out of your life. Just calm down a little bit.
Oh, God. All right, I'm going to say it, man. All right, so I wanted to tell a story. I wanted to ask a question. So we ordered from KFC today, right? My girlfriend was really craving some KFC. And, I grabbed the food from the Uber and all this stuff, right? And I opened the boxes and stuff, and I opened one box, and it's like, the box is like this big, right? Open the box, has one damn chicken tender in it. Have you ever ordered one chicken tender?
No.
Bro, she's like, yeah, they had an option. So I ordered one chicken tender. I'm like, bro, for $3? I'm going to... I almost lost my shit, dude. One chicken tender, $3. Probably $3 just to put it in the damn box. I was so pissed, bro. And she didn't even eat the whole damn thing because it ain't cooking enough. Oh, my God, bro. I said, you just ruined my chicken tender. I didn't even finish my chicken tender. I was so pissed off. Anyways,
that might be the most random story that I've heard in my entire
life.
I'm
sorry. It's in the back of my freaking mind, and I'm just like, dude, it costs $3 for one chicken tender.
We ordered KFC, and she ordered one chicken tender.
One chicken tender. It was $3, dude.
Did it come with a biscuit at least?
No, I got the biscuit with my meal, but she ate my biscuit because she wanted a biscuit. But anyways, because I'm a nice guy. But, dude, $3 for a chicken tender. That's ridiculous. Oh, my God. I just had to tell you that story because it was in the back of my mind. And to warn everybody not to order one chicken tender because it's too expensive. This world's going to shit. One chicken tender costs as much as a gallon of gas in this state. Isn't that crazy? But anyways.
That's weird.
Yeah, I agree with Tyler, man. Just keep the negativity out of your life. I mean, just being in sports groups in general, honestly, has really, really changed my perspective on a lot of things because people really just they get personal too quick and it can get ugly, man. Look at what's happening. I don't want to get political, but look what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and shit. All this stuff is happening. It's just stupid, man. Look at all the racism stuff that's happening. Listen, man, we're all people, right? At the end of the day, and we do this show to talk about sports and just enjoy life, and let's just all just get along, man. That's all I want.
That's the thing too. Is like James, for example. James is a Saints, Celtics,
Red Sox,
and he's a Predators fan, so I have that in common with him. But
yeah,
he watches our show even though he's not a fan of any of the same teams as we are.
Right, man.
Which we appreciate.
That's love.
And with that, there's trash talk. People like to trash talk. It's fun. You can say, "Oh, we're gonna beat the brakes off of you" or whatever. But at the end of the day, and I'm thankfully lucky to have had this, is that when I've been at live sporting events, if I'm next to a rival teammate or a fan of a rival team, that at the end of the game you can shake hands and say "good game," and want that person to get home safely. I've never been at a point where I've been at a sporting event and it's like, I want to get in a fist fight with that guy, or I hope they have a flat tire when they get to their car, or something like that.
Yeah, right.
So, I can have the discussions with some people, but I want it to be about the content and not about me versus you.
I agree.
That's the type of sports discussion that I appreciate, and that's hopefully the type of discussion that Jake and I emulate when we talk on the show.
Listen, man, yeah, and I probably give off the energy of talking shit a lot more than Tyler does. Tyler's a little bit more reserved. Tyler's more clever than me. He'll find ways to kind of go around you and then really just stick you. Where I'm kind of just in your face, and I'm just like, yeah, I hate your team. They suck. I mean, I can come up with arguments and I can be clever at times, but that's just not my tactic. But at the end of the day, we're all people, and that goes for athletes too. I want to talk on their part too. I really hate it when people get personal with athletes, like, oh, this guy sucks, I hate him. Oh, screw his wife. Oh, blah. Chill out, dude. They're still people. That's still somebody's brother, wife. I mean, come on. Let's all chill. Let's all get along. I mean, I don't like any Chicago teams. Respect is a two-way
street, so.
Yeah, I don't like the Bulls. I don't like the Bears. But I'm not about to sit here and wish hell on people who like the Bulls and the Bears. It is what it is, man. At the end of the day, I just felt really spiritual when Tyler was talking, so I wanted to kind of emulate that same energy.
That inspired you to tell a story about one chicken tender? That's your takeaway from me?
Tell me, excuse me. Tell me that's not ridiculous, though. $3 for a goddamn one chicken tender? Are you serious?
I'm in the middle of trying to have a heart-to-heart with people about not being so negative when they're talking about their teams, and Jake's like, bro, I got to tell you this story about this one chicken tender that CC ordered.
Dude, I thought about it the entire podcast because I'm pissed. It cost me $3 for a fucking chicken. I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed right now, dude.
I feel a little bad for anybody that listened all the way to the end of this show.
No, I don't feel bad at all. I'm trying to help you save some money. Don't order one chicken tender. Dude, it costs $5 for 5 of them. So just get 5, okay? Be normal.
I have leftovers for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm saying, okay? Or just don't order KFC because it's really not that good, honestly.
It's okay. You're likely to get better chicken from small businesses, which, if you want to go all the way full circle, a good place to get food from a small business, Parker John's.
Attaboy.
Get yourself some Parker John's.
We have to check out that Oshkosh location, man. My dad was just there on Sunday. He came over to my house, and he told me that it's really, really sick, but it's really busy right now, which
I bet it is.
might be a good idea, for a live episode. I'm just saying.
I don't know if they're gonna let us in there on a Friday night. We'll we got to do Kiel. I think we're gonna try to do our live mock draft show again. We're gonna try to do that one live in person. We're gonna try to do that one in Kiel, so sometime in April.
All right, man. Yeah.
All right. Let's get some snacks and get ready for the Bucks game.
Not chicken tenders though.
not chicken tender.
Yo, God.
All right, bud. See you next week.